Have you ever felt like you're fighting a war no one else can see? You wake up every day facing the same obstacles, the same limitations, the same people telling you you don't have what it takes to win. And deep down, sometimes, you believe it yourself. Most people live their entire lives accepting their disadvantages as fate. Born poor, you'll die poor. Lacking connections, you'll never amount to anything. Shy, you'll always remain in the shadows. They surrender their power to circumstances and spend their entire lives regretting it. But what if I told you there was a mindset capable of turning any disadvantage into a secret weapon? A mindset that transforms limitations into superpowers. A mental strategy so powerful that when you master it, people sense something different about you, something they can't quite define, but deeply respect. Today, we'll delve into the mind of a legendary warrior who proved that it doesn't matter where you come from or what you don't have. His name was Minamoto no Yoshitsune, and he transformed being the weakest into the most feared. If you clicked on this video, it's because you know you have untapped potential. You want to break barriers, overcome limitations, and finally play to win. And that's exactly what you're about to discover. But first, I ask you to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below which of the teachings resonated most with you. Now back to the video. Yoshitsune may seem like just an old name from Japanese history, but behind that name lies one of the greatest examples of how to turn a disadvantage into absolute victory that the world has ever known. Born in 1159, during a time of all-out civil war in Japan, Yoshitsune began life with the cards stacked against him. His father was murdered when he was 1 year old. He was raised in exile, far from his family, in a Buddhist monastery. He had no money, no army, and no political connections. For any normal person, this would be the perfect recipe for a life of mediocrity and resentment. But here's what makes Yoshitsune truly extraordinary. He didn't see his limitations as prisons. He saw them as opportunities to develop something no opponent could predict or imitate. While other young samurai grew up learning only traditional techniques, following the same old patterns, Yoshitsune was building something revolutionary, a mind that thought where others couldn't see. Yoshitsune was not only a brilliant military strategist, known for winning impossible battles against enemies superior in numbers and resources. He was a master of the art of transforming apparent weakness into devastating strength. His victories were so astonishing that they forever changed the way wars were fought in Japan. What's fascinating is that Yoshitsune often won his battles before they even began. His reputation for unpredictability was so legendary that seasoned generals would rather retreat than face him. It wasn't just military skill. It was the aura of someone who had mastered the art of making the impossible seem inevitable. A professor of military psychology at the University of Tokyo notes that individuals who develop this kind of innovative mindset often demonstrate what researchers call a cognitive advantage, the ability to see possibilities where others see only obstacles. What Yoshitsune discovered 800 years ago, modern neuroscience is proving. True strength comes not from external resources, but from how you process and respond to challenges. But what exactly does it mean to have a revolutionary mindset? We're not talking about aimless rebellion, but rather a mental strength born of the courage to question what everyone accepts as absolute truth. Think about the last time you faced a seemingly impossible situation. Maybe it was a seemingly unattainable professional goal, a financial problem with no obvious solution, or a personal conflict that had no way out. How did you react? Most people accept reality and give up before even trying something different. Yoshitsune embodied the opposite of this mindset. He refused to accept that things had to be the way they always were. When everyone said, "It's impossible," he asked, "Why hasn't anyone tried it yet?" When everyone followed the same path, he created paths where none existed. Having a revolutionary mindset means viewing every "can't be done" as a personal invitation to prove otherwise. It's transforming limitations into laboratories of creativity. It's using other people's doubts as fuel for your own determination. Here's what most people don't understand. Your greatest strengths aren't what you have in common with others. They're precisely what makes you different, strange, even uncomfortable to most people. Yoshitsune discovered that when you stop trying to fit into others' standards and start creating your own, you're not just changing your strategy, you're changing the rules of the game. And when you change the rules, you automatically gain an advantage over those still playing the old game. A researcher at Stanford's Innovation Department found that individuals who develop this type of disruptive thinking exhibit increased activity in brain regions associated with creativity and problem-solving. They literally think differently, finding connections that other brains cannot. Yoshitsune didn't just leave impossible victories in his wake. He left a philosophy, principles that, though born on the battlefield, are perfectly applicable to your challenges today. And this is where the revolutionary mindset is truly built, when you transform these principles into daily actions. Principle 1. When everyone does X, do Y. The first principle is straightforward and transformative. When everyone else goes right, you go left. Yoshitsune never did the obvious. At the famous Battle of Ichi no Tani, while all the generals were planning a traditional frontal attack, he did something that changed Japanese military history. The enemy was in a seemingly impenetrable position, protected by cliffs, facing the sea. Any military manual would say, "Attack from the front is the only option." Yoshitsune looked at those cliffs everyone considered insurmountable and thought, what if the answer lies right where no one is looking? He rode his horses down the cliffs. Imagine the scene. Veteran soldiers thinking he'd lost his mind, and suddenly, total and unexpected victory. But here's the real lesson. He didn't win because he had more soldiers or better weapons. He won because he had the courage to do what no one expected, what no one had tried. In your daily life, this means stopping following the herd. If everyone in your field is doing the same thing, perhaps your opportunity lies in doing the exact opposite. If everyone is competing in the same space, create a new one. A Harvard Business School business strategy professor explains that the greatest market innovations have always come from people who challenged previously accepted assumptions. They didn't try to outperform the existing game, they created new ones. Practical application. This week, identify an area of your life where you're doing what everyone else does. It could be in your career, relationships, or business. Now ask yourself, what would happen if I did the exact opposite of what's expected? Principle 2. Turn weakness into a secret weapon. The second principle is more subtle but equally powerful. Use what others see as your weakness as your greatest advantage. At the Battle of Dan no Ura, Yoshitsune commanded a smaller fleet against Japan's larger navy. Any normal general would think, I need bigger ships, more soldiers, more resources. Yoshitsune thought differently. What if being smaller gives me advantages that the big guys don't have? He used smaller, faster ships. Instead of trying to compete with brute force, he created a movement pattern that completely confused the enemy. His disadvantage became his most lethal weapon. This teaches us something revolutionary about how to face our limitations. They are not flaws to be hidden. They are unique characteristics to be explored. Are you shy? Great. That means you listen more than you speak. In an age where everyone just wants to be heard, listening is a superpower. Don't have the money for big investments? Perfect. You'll be forced to be creative and efficient, qualities money can't buy. An MIT behavioral economist has documented how successful entrepreneurs consistently turn their apparent limitations into competitive advantages. They don't try to hide what makes them different. They amplify those differences. Practical application. List 3 characteristics of yours that you've always seen as limitations. For each one, ask, how could this be my secret advantage? You'll be surprised by the answers. Principle 3. Be fluid as water, firm as rock. The third principle is where the profound wisdom appears. Be adaptable in methods, but unwavering in principles. Yoshitsune never used the same tactic twice, but he never compromised his core values. Here's the paradox most people can't solve. How can you be flexible without losing your identity? How can you adapt without betraying yourself? Yoshitsune discovered the answer. You hold your values like rock, unchangeable, non-negotiable. But your methods are like water. They flow around obstacles, always finding a way. When his own brother, the shogun, began to see him as a political threat, Yoshitsune had to choose. Compromise his principles to maintain power, or maintain his principles knowing it would cost everything. He chose integrity. He was persecuted, exiled, and eventually forced to commit ritual suicide at age 30. You might be thinking, what kind of example is this? He lost. But here's the twist. 800 years later, we still speak of Yoshitsune with reverence. He became immortal. Do you know the name of the brother who betrayed him? Probably not. A moral philosopher at the University of Cambridge observes that there's a fundamental difference between temporary success and lasting legacy. People who maintain integrity under pressure create a kind of power that transcends circumstances. They become unbreakable from within. Practical application. Define your 3 non-negotiable values, those things you would never betray, no matter the cost. Write them down on a piece of paper and stick them on your mirror. When you have to make difficult decisions, refer to this list. If you want to embody the revolutionary mindset, you need a daily system, simple yet transformative. Something that calibrates your mind every day, just as Yoshitsune calibrated his strategy before each battle. Here's the crucial difference between people who transform their lives and those who only dream of transforming theirs. People who transform have systems, not just intentions. They don't rely on sporadic motivation. They rely on consistent discipline. Morning intention. Definition. When you wake up, before checking your phone or getting lost in the noise of the world, set your revolutionary intention for the day. What pattern will you break today? What expectation will you transcend? What impossible will you make possible? But don't just think about it. Write it down. There's something powerful about putting pen to paper. It turns a vague idea into a concrete commitment. Disruptive action. Then choose a specific action that symbolizes this commitment. A conversation you've been avoiding, an idea you're afraid to try, or a new skill everyone says you can't learn. Do this with full presence and intention. It's not about being busy, it's about being revolutionary in the small details. Night reflection. At the end of the day, review what worked, what didn't work. Where was I courageous? Where did I hold back out of fear? How can I be more disruptive tomorrow? Did I act like the person I want to become? This isn't just routine. It's daily training of a revolutionary mind. A warrior doesn't live on autopilot. He lives with intentional purpose in every detail. A Duke University professor of neuroplasticity found that people who follow this type of structured practice experience measurable changes in brain structure in just 8 weeks, particularly in areas associated with decision-making and stress resilience. Yoshitsune shows us that the difference between mediocrity and greatness lies not in the resources you have, but in the revolutionary way you use what's available. The mindset you build today determines the impossible battles you'll win tomorrow. By adopting this revolutionary mindset, you stop being just another person trying to fit into other people's molds and become someone who creates new ones. You stop playing the game of life by the rules others have set and start writing your own. So tell me in the comments, what rule will you break today? What impossible will you turn into the inevitable? If this video inspired you to think differently, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to stop accepting limitations as fate. The real battle isn't against the outside world. It's against the version of you that accepts less than you're capable of, and you can win that battle today. Until next time, keep your revolutionary mind and your spirit unshakable.